Hey, welcome back everybody. We are over at Matt's place now and we're going to continue working here on Rosco and keep on doing some of the airbags. Today we're going to start getting everything prepped to remove the front beam. Get that pulled out and we're going to start setting everything in place, get the new beam in. We're going to change the master cylinder and a few things on it as well once we get everything lifted up. So today we're just going to get the best position where we want it. A little bit tight space to work in, not a whole lot different than mine because I got some junk in my garage, but we're going to make a go of it here, get the beam pulled out, bolt the new beam in, hook up the air lines, and it'll be on air ride. We'll take it back to my place in the spring, and we should be able to do the tubbing on the front wheel arches at that point. But we'll get a short video here of doing the beam. Here we go. Beam is out of Rosco. Now we're going to start disassembling all of the hardware off of this beam, have it ready to be installed on the new air ride beam that's coming. But there she be. I just had the box in there because it was dripping a little bit of brake fluid when we disconnect things to minimize the mess. But beam is out, and Matt's going to be busy taking this one apart, getting all the hardware onto the new beam so we can put the new one in. Here we go. Alright, welcome back everybody. We're back at my garage. We got Matt's new front beam. Came in. Bags are mounted. It is a Wagons West beam. I could tell you the story about why it's Wagons West and not Dub Fab. But paid for Dub Fab. Never did receive Dub Fab. Over a year, year and a half, still nothing. At any rate, that's a problem for another day. What we're going to do today is we're going to, it's a narrowed beam, so we're going to prep these spring packs. We've got to cut them shorter. We're going to mount this tool into the existing dimple on the spring pack, and we're going to drill new dimples in it, and then cut the, I think it's 3/8 of an inch. We'll look at the measurements. So we're going to be threading these in there to hold it in place, and we're going to drill the new dimples into each end of the spring packs, trim those off, have those ready, and install them into the beam. That'll be our task for today. Here we go. That's on the drill. Spring packs. And then we'll trim the end off. The sides are already done, so we got a new dimple on that one already. Cut 3/8 of an inch off the ends, and that will take care of narrowing the beam. Here we go. Oh, Matt's greasing up the freaking leaf pack, the first leaf pack. The top one is little set screw dimples are drilled into it. They're trimmed off 2 inches on each side. I'm going to attempt to install this into the beam. Here we go. Hey, welcome back everybody. We are back in the garage. It's been a few weeks since we've been working on Rosco. We have the front beam. Fully bagged, 4-inch narrowed beam. We've already shortened the torsion bars. Had to drill a little nipple spot there on the end and cut off 2 inches. Had to do both sides to get everything set up. We are going to put the new torsion bar setup in the bottom one here. We've got to do some adjustments to get it to fit. And then we're going to be assembling the beams. We've got the new spindles. We're going to have to get some of the hardware off of the old front drums. We are converting to disc brakes at the same time. Got the disc brake kit in here and all of the parts that we're going to need to assemble. So our setup today is going to be to start putting all these parts on, get this beam assembled, and we'll see how far we can get. I'll just grab a time lapse of us putting her together. Here we go. Alright, beam is assembled. These springs, torsion bars are all back inside. Had to wrestle around a little bit with orientation of where the grub screws are on the control arms versus the grub screw for the center and adjuster. On the upper spring needs to be all on the same side, where the normal, when you buy them new, there's a grub screw on the center on one side and in the opposite orientation for the other ends. But we got that sorted out. It is all assembled, control arms are on. We're hoping to do a little bit more today, but as far as we're gonna get. We'll probably do some more tomorrow. Here we go. All right, a little bit of an update. There is Matt's beam. Saw us kind of putting some of the spring things in and getting the control arms the other day. We set things up here today. Got the steering pin and whatever that control arm is, little wishbone. Got the spindles and disc brake conversion is starting to go on. We need to get some different hardware to put the bracket on and get the caliper bolted onto that side. Tie rod ends are on. We have the caliper on this side, but again, we have the 2 bolts on the top, the bottom bolts because of these spindles when they were done. It is the holes got to be either retapped, or we're just going to go with the 5 mil shorter bolt for that in order to hold these brackets on. That gives you the mounting point for your calipers. But it's looking great. Bags are in. Going to get new hardware for the top of the bags because we need 1/4 inch piping. Those ones are larger. And we're good to go. Next video we'll be putting her into Matt's bus and hook up the air ride and see what the whole thing's like on air. Here we go. You can try it. I don't know if you can get your hand up where the clutch is and just pull that lever forward a bit.
Back there?
Yeah.
Not a chance.
No?
Nope. I have trouble in days when it's like flat on the ground.
Oh, it's on jack stands.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the wrench you need?
Yeah. 17.
Alright, so I'm going to trade places with you.
Sure.
Get you to come here.
Yeah.
You'll see, I might need another light of some kind, if we have one.
I got a small one. Small.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be big, just so I can take a look up inside back there, and I'll see if I can get onto the lever. And I just need to give you like an inch. If I can move that sucker an inch, wiggle back there, get my arm up. If you take a look up underneath here, and you'll see where
it has to go.
Yeah, once I can give you some slack to work with, I'm hoping.
Oh, like right, like where it's on hooked on right now.
It's sitting there now, but it's just got to slide onto the tooth. You can see that it's got a rectangular hole in the center that goes onto that shaft. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And the clutch is all the way up right now. You know where, like you can move the clutch over here, right?
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
So you can see where that thing changes direction. Put that all the way up. And me putting some tension on the clutch. The other thing we can do is we can grab the cable here with vice grips.
Yeah.
And give it some pull. But that's hard on the cable.
It is, yeah.
If I can get back here and grab it, I would prefer it. The other option is we disconnect the wing nut back here.
Yeah.
I see it. You sure you won't fit in here?
That's what you're like, can you get a fit in there? I'm like, oh god, I don't know about that.
I think you will fit. You just want me to do it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, try that. Pull the cable.
Yep. Oh god, I can't.
Will it go?
Hold on. Is that on? It's on. Hold on.
Okay, put the washer nut on.
Fat fingers.
Yeah, it's not an easy space to be in here. This is not bad, though.
There you go.
On?
Yeah.
Alright, send her up. Holy fuck. I gotta just use my heels and crawl out. Alright, clutch. Nice.
you have to run downstairs. Get it hang there for now?
Yeah, I can send it on this box.
Yeah, I'll grab some.
Leave a couple, 2 or 3 of those.
Yep.
And then it's time to take this, hook it to the bag, start running it up. Probably gonna have to cut that in half, push a line up, plug it in. We'll do one side, then the other side, so we don't mix them up.
Yep.
So when you hit a switch on the left side, it moves the left side of your bus. I marked the other ones with color.
Yeah.
All right, we're at it. Cut a hole in Matt's bus. We're going to tub in this arch. Got the piece just up here that we're going to be welding in. This guy is going to kind of fit in there like that. And we're just getting ready, starting to cut and shape a piece to go in and close that arch out. So we're going to put that piece in next. Here we go. All right, I'm going to show you a little bit what we got going on. Show you how we cut the hole. Got this piece of fender. It's like a trailer fender. It's trimmed to fit onto Matt's bus here, lining up the edge of it with the panel that was on for the floor. It'll sit like that when tacked in. And this panel here we can bring forward and it'll get welded right along this bottom edge. And make another piece to close out the other side after. This panel here, put some gloves on because it's still warm from welding, is just clamped in place. It's going to get spot welded all the way across here. We'll close out the ends, weld it up into these spots. I'll be able to weld in from the back side, then put this piece on, weld this edge, tack it all up and weld it in place. Then we'll make the last piece. Be able to tack that in place, do a bit of trimming from up inside the wheel well, because I have the line from the inside of the fender and I got about 2 inches of material here. It's too much really, but I want to make sure that we have plenty, so we'll clean off the paint off of that so we got something to weld to, and we'll clean that up after it's welded in and finish everything from underneath. But this panel that we need in here, just this piece. We doubled it on this side at the front for a strength piece. I'm going to double it up on the back in here as well, and then that'll get clamped in and we're going to weld that in. Here we go. All right, welcome back everybody. Working on Rosco some more here, getting the tubs done. See a little bit of smoke coming off that. I don't know if you can see that or not. Working on the seat frames. So I had to cut the flat bar off the bottom of the seat frame, of course, to be able to accommodate the curve and still keep the seat sitting as low and tight as we can. So we got this rolled the bar. Showed some, I'll try and post some pictures of what that rolling the bar piece was like, and made something to match the curvature of the tub piece we're putting in. Of course, this tub piece tacked in place right now. It's still got to weld it up, but everything's fitting real nice. So I just wanted to work on these seat frames. Want to get those finished, so the other side's already welded up. I just got a part of the area to weld up, so I'm just going to need an extra pair of hands to kind of hold the springs out of the way because I don't got the springs off that side. I got the springs off of this side, which was great because it made it super easy to get to the frame. So I'm going to weld this one all up, grind the welds, get it cleaned. I got to make a few little kind of like hook tabs. I'll try and show you guys what those are like on the bottom at the edge of the frame rails here, for when the seats get recovered, something for the leather to kind of hook into and hold tight along the bottom of the vehicle, bottom of the seat. Going to make some tabs to be able to mount it. It had some custom-made brackets and pieces of angle iron and such on the old seats. We're just going to kind of clean those up, make something a little bit more, as I'll say, aesthetically pleasing. We're going to try and get this driver's seat back as far as we can. Matt's a big boy, so we want to give him as much room as we can, get the seat as low to the floor as we can for comfort, and get it back all the way as best we can. Here we go. All right, here we go again. Just a little bit of welding up. Got the back side welded up the front side. Gonna weld this arch across here now. Get a little bit of time lapse for you and get a little bit of the welding in. And we're gonna keep on going. Close up the inside of it back here. have to make the part for that yet, and Matt's going to get here in a little while. We're going to finish welding up that seat. I need a little bit of help to do that one. Grind up some welds, make sure we get things situated, start working on what we're going to do to mount the seats in place, make them good and solid. Add a seat belt bracket for the passenger seat because it doesn't have one, and yeah, everything will be better. Here we go. All right, got that welded up. Still got to close up the little end pieces. Got a little bit of work to do. Got to do a series of spot welds across here to join all the pieces. There's now three layers of metal across here now with the piece that we added underneath. And we'll close up that back side and get onto the seats. Here we go. All right, seat frames are all squared away. We've got the springs all secured, mounted back on. We've got the arch piece welded in place. And I'll try and show you guys what we did down here. I don't know if you can see these little pointy tabs. Very difficult to see, but a lot of those are broken off before. And they're what, when you wrap the seat, material comes around and kind of hooks into these, and that's what holds the leather onto the bottom rail. On that one down there, down here, I mounted them really high so that the leather is going to be able to wrap around the bar, secure around the bottom side, so that when it sits in the vehicle, you won't see any of the hooks or material kind of holding the leather. It'll just be a nice clean side profile for when you open the door and you're looking into the bus. So that seat's done. Got the one all finished in here too. I still got to put the spring piece back on there. I'll do that later. I've got the panel on the inside of this back there still to make and weld on. That's going to be a tomorrow night thing. And then it's grinding some welds, getting things set up. Matt's going to do seam seal all the welds, top side, bottom side, get everything ready. We'll sand some of the areas, get it primed with some self-etching primer, seal things up, probably repaint it before the seats go back in, just so that part's done. We do have a couple of brackets that we need to make. This seat was welded onto a piece of angle iron here, and it was sitting too low. So we're going to make a couple of brackets that come off the back edge, come down, overhang at least an inch and a bit to give room for mounting. The angle iron piece that was there is still going to bolt to the floor. The piece, the tab that comes down from here, will bolt onto the angle iron piece that mounts inside the bus. That way it'll be a lot easier to mount the seats, get the seats out if you ever need to again, and it'll be nice and stable and secure. So that's what we're going to be doing, is working on those brackets, maybe tomorrow. These seats will get recovered next week, and hopefully, here's the angle iron bracket that we're talking about. That'll bolt into the floor. I'm going to probably take the holes that are into the floor for those brackets, and I think I'm going to put some rib nuts in them so that it's a little bit easier. Right now, you got to put bolts in from the bottom. Kind of tricky to get in there and do that. So we're going to put some rib nuts in, bolt straight down from the top for the far passenger side mounts, the two on this side, and then the two on the inside edge for the driver's seat. And we're going to make brackets on the driver's seat, because I can explain that as well. I'm going to make a bracket. The seat's pretty much where we want it. I'm going to make a bracket that goes right off this corner, down on the inside edge, and down, and it's going to have another bracket that's about onto the floor and mount here to bolt in easily from the front of the seat. I'm going to do the same thing at the back corner of the seat down in here. That way there's no hardware obstructing the the seat on this side. It'll look nice and clean and custom. Here we go. Alright, here we go again. Gonna just finish up a few things this evening. I didn't catch anything what I did last night. So we got the seats put into place and created some brackets and such. So I welded a tab on the back of this bar here, comes down, and it's going to bolt down in there. Probably impossible to see down through all the meshes on the springs. And there's going to be another one right down here. Same idea. Welds comes down off the back bar, and then a bracket that bolts to the floor to mount it at the back. And at the front, easy to get to, and at least this outside edge, nice and clean. So we've got these seats recovered. You won't even see the hardware that's securing it to the bus. It is also bolted in between the two seats. It'll be a little bit of a tight spot to get in there, but we'll be able to get in and bolt that down. We're going to secure a couple of rib nuts onto the deck there for the seat to bolt down on that side. Similar on the passenger seat. This will be a bar, piece of angle iron that was there before. It is mounted to the floor, and then we have tabs that come down off the inner seat and will bolt from the side into that bar. So we'll put the passenger seat in, then the driver's seat in, and secure them, and it'll be good to go. There'll be another bracket that's off the back corner, similar to what was originally there. We just lowered it once we cut this bar on the far side, got everything kind of set in nice and low, tight as we can. Make sure everybody kind of fits and sits in comfy spots. We're going to make a seatbelt bracket for the seatbelt receivers. There's one on the driver's seat now. We're going to add another one for the back or into the passenger side over there. And then we'll be able to put some seatbelts in, probably late model retractable ones maybe, or if it goes with a lap belt, but at least have something so we can actually be secure in there and good to go. So today we're just going to finish welding up some things on the inside of this tub. Got a little bit of welding to do along these bottom edges, and up inside a little bit of welding. Take the grinder to those things, get things cleaned up, and then that way tomorrow we should be seam sealing and getting that stuff done. Maybe mounting some of the rib nuts if we're ready for that. Once seam sealing is set up, scuff, prime everything with self-etching primer, coat of flat back paint like you did on everything else in there, just to get everything protected. Up underneath the fender as well. We still have to bleed the brake system. Got some air in the lines still, and then once the seats come back from being recovered next week, Matt will be good to go. Matt and Rosco. Summer full of miles and smiles. Here we go. Alright, another little update here. So, all the welding squared away. We ground off all the welds. We started doing some seam sealing, so we got all the welds seam sealed up this side and the other side. And we also did up underneath. I don't know if it's easy to see up there. Man, box trying to get up underneath there. Hard to see. At any rate, all the welds and seams, top side and bottom side, all seam sealed. Gonna let that set up now overnight. And tomorrow we're going to, I guess we also made this panel. Try and get a look there. You can see where the gauges are mounted. We put a plate that mounts at the bottom of the dash, goes down an angle, goes across, and then screws onto this beam here. That's the panel that goes, or beam that goes across, and there's normally a tray that goes underneath the dash there. So that'll mount right to that. The tray can still go in and mount to it. Tomorrow we're going to take that back out, paint up that metal panel we put in there, put it back in. We're going to rerun all the air lines, making sure that the slack is run in a nice gentle path, and refix everything up underneath. We got some spots underneath here that we want to make sure we have the slack, secure everything nice and tight, up out of the way, making sure it's going to go. And we still have to bleed the brakes, so we're going to bleed the hydraulic brake line again tomorrow, and then it is ready for prime and paint on the new metal bits, top and bottom. When the seats come back, seats will go back in, and Rosco will be ready to go. So we'll be back here tomorrow. Here we go. Hey, good morning everybody. We're back at it here this morning with Rosco. You can hear that it's cool enough outside because of the last couple of video clips, my garage heater kicked in and the fan is going. But this is how things are looking. We got everything seemed sealed up there yesterday. Got a good couple of coats of self-etching primer over any of the bare metal surfaces on both sides, getting those things kind of cleaned up. Matt's going to do a flat black kind of paint over top of all this once we get it back to his place, and then we'll be mounting the seats in it. Today we're going to get the brakes bled front and back. Got some air in the line still from when we put all that stuff together. We need to get that done. We're going to take, hard to see in there, but we're going to take the valves off, take the plate that we made in there out, sand that up, prime it a couple of times. While that's drying, we're going to redo all the air lines that are kind of coiled up and going down. Get that stuff cleared away. Make sure that we have a good path just under the bus. Right now it's the path that's sitting a bit close to where the steering arm goes. We're just going to route that. We'll push some of the slack we have up here down. Get that routing really nice. Reroute the lines to where the valves are. Reconnect everything. And mount that plate back in. Here we go. All right, we are back at it with Rosco. Matt and I had the seats out again. Got all the brackets and stuff that we had put into there, painted up, put them back in. We added a couple of riv nuts in places to make the hardware super easy to bolt in. Added a high-speed, low-drag seat belt, and he is good to go. We'll fire it up and do a little demonstration of when she's sitting up nice and high, and we'll drop the air so you can see how low she goes. Here we go. All right, we'll finish things off with Matt and Rosco. Everything looks pretty good. Sitting on the airbag. All the new seats that are in place, everything looks really good. You can drop the back end quite a bit. Trying to do a little video on it. It's hard to see how much it goes down and up. The back end has a lot of travel. I'd say probably 4 inches. And the front is 2 to 3 inches of travel. But Rosco is good for the season. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one.